The internal environment comprises of factors that the organisation has control over. These factors have an effect on the way their operations run and the success of their company. It comprises of several components, from a firm's resources to their capabilities, to discovering their core competencies, to evaluate whether the business has a competitive advantage over their rivals. Collis and Montgomery explain a component of the internal environment, its resources. They define resources as inputs to a firm's production process. These assets regulate how efficiently and effectively a firm carries out its functional activities. They can be divided into two segments, tangible and intangible. According to Hansen, Hitt, and Island, tangible resources are defined as a firm's assets that can be observed and quantified. The main tangible resources for Hiscoes are their financial, organisational, and physical resources. As Hiscoes are an Australian private company, they have more funding options compared to sole traders. For organisational resources, Hiscoes are a family-owned business, therefore they have more power and control over their resources and the way their business is coordinated. The firm also have a wide range of physical resources. Just to list some, they have 4 squash courts, pin-loaded weight areas, an aerobic studio, and parking for customers to easily drive in and find a park. It's also in the perfect location right in the heart of Surrey Hills, and also accompanies a bus stop that stops right in front of the premises so that customers catching public transport can easily access Hiscoes. A firm's resources can also be intangible. According to Hansen, Hitt and Island, intangible resources are a firm's assets that have been embedded deeply into the firm's history and have accumulated over time. Because these assets follow specific patterns that are unique to the company, it makes it difficult for other competitors to analyse and copy. The intangible resources for Hiscoes are their human resources and reputational resources. Hiscoes prides itself on having experienced and friendly staff. They also have trusted, experienced, and loyal personal trainers who have been a part of the gym for a long time. Hiscoes also have a reputation with their customers, as it's been developed over 31 years ago. The brand name and the trust for the organisation is extremely reputable. They also have a reputation with their product and the service that they provide. For example, many customers have said that they loved the old-school warehouse-type feel of the gym, and that it was a gym with no attitude and not for the slick designer. People have also said you get to know the people training alongside you, so they have a reputation for building relationships with the staff. Hansen, Hitt and Island state that capabilities are created when you combine the firm's tangible and intangible assets. They are used to complete tasks within the organisation that are required to produce, distribute and service the goods in the purpose to create something of value for the customer. One capability of Hiscoes are the human resources. Hiscoes empower and motivate their employees, and as a result they have many retaining employees in the business. Marketing is also another capability of Hiscoes. They have a social media presence with 1.134 user followers on Facebook. Even though Hiscoes have a social media presence, many of their surrounding gyms also do too, and roughly with the same amount of followers. According to Hansen, Hitt and Island, core competencies are a business's competitive advantage achieved through its capabilities. Ambient is a core competency for Hiscoes, their old-school traditional warehouse feels and down-to-earth gym, a gym that customers go for the sole purpose of getting fit, and as previously said, not for the slick designer. According to the 4 criteria test, for resources and capabilities to lead to competitive advantage, they must tick all 4 criteria. This core competency is valuable as it speaks to customers who are wanting to go to the gym for this type of experience. It may not be costly to imitate, as you can change the physical equipment within the gym, but it may take a while to build a reputation that Hiscoes already has. It's a rare gym, as many gyms don't present the same experience and are mainly 24-hour as well. Non-substitutes, so the old school feel vibe can be substituted by a box academy or boxing rings or CrossFit, which also are around the same area, which both follow that same type of atmosphere. Additionally, another core competency is price effective. Hiscoes care about providing the best value for money. They offer flexible and fair memberships for their customers, giving the option to pause your membership when you want, and easy cancellation processes too. So the 4 criteria test valuable. It can attract customers who may travel often, therefore need to pause their memberships or look for those looking for value for money deals. Costly to imitate. It may not be costly as competing gyms such as Fitness Playground have similar prices. However, they do have less equipment and classes available for customers than Hiscoes do. Rare, so competing gyms may offer the same benefits regarding gym membership. And non-substitute, it can be substitutable if competitors do decide to go cheaper to remain competitive. Collis and Montgomery state that competitive advantage is when whatever source ultimately can be attributed to the ownership of a valuable resource that lets a company to carry out activities better or more cheaply than their competitors. As the above core competencies do not meet all 4 criteria, Hiscoes aren't regarded as having competitive advantage.
An evaluation of the external environment for Hiscoes will now be done. To do this, the competitive forces model by Mac Reporter will be used. Let's start by describing the forces. Threat of new entrants. The only visible barrier of entry is the capital investment of a venue staff and equipment, so the force of a new entrant is high. Bargaining power of customers. It is relatively high, as the switching costs are nearly inexistent. 2/3 of Hiscoes clients are transient customers. Substitute products. They are predominant as there are different ways of keeping fit without the need of purchasing a gym membership, including online do-it-yourself fitness, sports clubs, and self-directed exercise. Given that the supply of the market of fitness instructors is extremely crowded, the brands of gyms are plentiful, the bargaining power of suppliers is relatively low. Still, with high demand for gyms and low exit barriers for the industry, Hiscoes exists in a fragmented industry with low entry barriers that had a boom in the last decade. The entrance of 24/7 low-budget chain gyms in the market led to a price war squishing profitability. Health clubs are leveraged to membership volumes, thus rivalry is quite high. The industry faces 4 strong forces that represent a threat for Hiscoes, making the health clubs a highly competitive market. Talking about the general environment, global environment forces include the following. Economic growth in Australia has been steady, creating wealth in its customers, making them able to spend in health club memberships. Demographics for Surrey Hills includes that the majority in population are in the target market of 18 to 39 years old, which are highly educated and holding above average incomes. Sociocultural influence includes a raising awareness in health and fitness in the last years. So these forces contribute to a high demand in gym and health clubs. On the other hand, although globalization in the health club industry is low, due to its lack of international trade due to its service-oriented nature, the political and legal environment in Australia leads to the expansion of international change, such as Fitness First, Curbs, Anytime Fitness, and Virgin Active, to contribute to the overcrowding of the market. Also, technological advances in social media and online services contributes to the substitute product force. For the grouping meta-analysis, as Richard Diaventis states in its paper, a price-benefit positioning map provides insights into the relationship between prices and benefits, and tracks how competitive positions change over time. In order to do this analysis, the variable variety of services was selected as the benefit indicator in order to differentiate different strategies between its firms. Given both axes of price and variety of services, the grouping map of Surrey Hills Health Clubs industry gets as follows. Firms offering low-budget gyms with no other service than gym facilities include the international chain Anytime Fitness and Fitness Playground gyms. They both aim for cheap and low personal service strategy and limited class availability, but usually offering 24/7 opening hours. Firms that offer more services such as classes and personal fitness instructors and small group training, but in a higher price, include the franchise Vision Personal Training and Enjoy Health and Fitness Club. These firms focus on personal attention, fitness classes, and nutrition plans. Then, We have the average price multi-service fitness option. Hiscoes enters this category, and it offers just prices, giving away value in the variety of classes and fitness options, while offering what in the first and second group offers, plus more classes such as box, yoga, and squash courts. It can be seen here that after mapping the state groups, Hiscoes has a direct competition between their rivals in the boutique gym strategic group, making their rivalry strong. Nevertheless, Hiscoes also serves the casual gym attendee, so the chain gym strategic group also represents a fierce threat for Hiscoes, especially in its transient customers.
We will now be discussing the business level strategy that we have determined to be present at Hiscoes Gym. Out of the types of business level strategies, those being low cost, whereby competitive advantage is gained through lower overall costs than competitors; differentiation, where a firm offers products or services that customers identify as unique in important ways; focus low cost, and focus differentiation, where a firm aims to serve the needs of a narrow or specific market niche or segment; and best cost provider. We have determined that Hiscoes has adopted the best cost provider strategy at their business level. Why the best cost strategy? This strategy is defined by Gould and Desjardins as incorporating elements of low-cost leadership and broad differentiation in such a way as to give customers the best price for a differentiated product. There will be customers in the market who are willing to pay below average prices for products or services of medium quality, or pay above average for high quality products or services. The best cost provider strategy aims to satisfy the needs of these value conscious customers who will pay a fair price for appealing extras and functionality, as indicated by Thompson, Peter Raff, Gamble and Strickland. Hiscoes membership prices are definitely not the most expensive in the market. However, they are also not the cheapest, which leads us to examine the variety of services that they have on offer. They are more than a pure gym, offering various group fitness classes and use of sports facilities such as squash courts. This differentiates them slightly from other rival gyms, such as Anytime Fitness in Surrey Hills, who only offers gym usage. This, however, has not really differentiated Hiscoes from other gyms within the market. What does use of the best cost provider strategy imply for firms? Some of the implications for a firm using a best cost strategy are as follows. It's difficult to balance low cost and differentiation to form one strategy. Many organizations who try to lower their own costs and/or offer low-cost products or services are not able to simultaneously offer differentiated products or services, and may end up being more of one than the other, which begs the question, are they really offering a best cost product or service to customers? The next risk of using a best cost strategy is that it is easy for other firms to imitate. Porter suggested that a firm must choose a strategy or run the risk of being easily imitated by competitors, which leads to Porter's next argument against the best cost strategy, which is that trying to mix low cost and differentiation strategies together to achieve a best cost strategy can leave a firm stuck in the middle, leading to a recipe for disaster. This is because while the firm has been trying to pursue both the low cost and differentiation strategies, it ends up achieving neither. Hiscoes' costs and prices are not low enough to be considered a low cost or budget gym, and its services, while varied, are not differentiated enough to make it an entirely unique gym for customers.
Now we will discuss whether Hiscoes should internationalise their business operations into another country. We believe that Hiscoes should not expand globally. Let us look at the reasons as why we believe Hiscoes should not expand their business overseas. Firstly, it is difficult to internationalise a service business. As Hiscoes is a service business, this can hinder their potential in a global market. Services are difficult to expand globally,
as they rely heavily on the interaction due to the production and consumption occurring simultaneously. Additionally, when expanding globally, firms will need a local presence in the market, and they can't test through exporting as a retailing business would, therefore increasing the risk of failure overseas with their limited entry options. As well as a greater requirement of resources, it can also take time to build trust and create relationships which are at the centre of success for service businesses. The small business nature. As Hiscoes is a small business, they may have difficulty expanding their operations due to some limitations small businesses have. Firstly, small businesses have less resources than a large company in order to expand overseas. As we have mentioned, it is difficult to expand a service, but this becomes increasingly difficult with limited resources when expanding overseas. Small businesses tend to not have the sufficient resources in order to effectively carry out a global expansion to the best standard. For example, for a small business like Hiscoes, it can be costly for them to send employees overseas for a period of time. Alternatively, they may not be able to set up a competent management structure overseas without using a large amount of their limited financial resources. There are also many risks associated with small businesses expanding overseas. They are highly sensitive to external forces that we have previously outlined in our external environment analysis. This may mean that they are not able to deal with risks as effectively as large companies do, due to the uncertainty of factors in a globalized setting, as well as their lack of resources to depend on when factors may affect their businesses. Lastly, internationalizing will mean that Hiscoes is opening the market in which they operate. Therefore, there will be many more players to compete with, as we've established that they have little competitive advantage, and so they may struggle when faced with larger competition. Furthermore, as the nature of the industry is highly competitive, a competitive advantage will be essential to business success, something that Hiscoes is currently lacking. Expanding overseas may heighten these issues and make it more difficult for Hiscoes to remain successful in an internationalization. As we do not believe that internationalization is the correct path for Hiscoes to take at the moment, we have established 2 recommendations to which Hiscoes could use to improve their overall business strategy. Firstly, as depicted in the first part of the analysis, Hiscoes does not have any strong core competencies, and this in turn limits their competitive advantage. We believe that it would be useful for Hiscoes to further develop and enhance the use of their resources in order to create capabilities that can be used as a competitive advantage, to better compete in the industry, with many players and the intense rivalry that the industry serves. We see potential in them focusing on the ambience and highlighting the reputation and history of the gym. The co-founder of the gym was a squash champion, and so this could be used to benefit and create a point of difference for their reputation and atmosphere. Further promoting the squash elements of the gym, as well as the warehouse feel and no frills, will turn this core competency into which can further be used for effectiveness and create a real point of difference to the Hiscoes business strategy. Next, we believe that Hiscoes will need to change their business level strategy. As we've already discussed the ineffectiveness of the current strategy being used, we believe that changing this strategy will allow for a more effective competitive stance. In creating core competencies, as mentioned in the first recommendation, this will allow them to change their business level strategy. Once Hiscoes have established a core competency, they can move to a different business level strategy that may work more effectively for them. We see potential in the differentiation strategy, as this allows them to showcase their core competencies that they have created. This strategy focuses on distinguishing an offer in order to appeal to potential customers. We believe that this is a much more suitable option than the current one that they are using, and will better improve their business strategy. Overall, we believe Hiscoes undertaking these recommendations will improve their business strategy and allow them to compete better in a market where competition is intense.